Positive versus balanced dog training. Both methods work. Both methods sound nice. But there is a huge difference between them when it comes to affecting your dog's quality of life and your relationship. So before we dive deep into both methods, I want to ask you a question. How important is your dog's quality of life and that he trusts you even in tricky situations? We come back to why this is important a little bit later. So let's look at the methods. Positive-based training or fear-free or force-free training, all of these are the same. And they focus on using positive reinforcement primarily. What that means is we catch our dogs doing something nice and reward our dogs. So it's a big name for just rewarding your dog. And with that, increase the behaviors we want to see our dogs do, right? Like your dog is sitting next to you, looking at you very politely, and you give him a treat. That is positive reinforcement. But let's see how that looks like in a very stressful but very common situation. Your dog is lunging, barking, growling on leash whenever he sees another dog. And you're not alone in this. This is one of the most common issues we run into as pet dog parents. And positive reinforcement starts where the dog is still doing well. So your dog is still walking on a loose leash, looking but not staring, checking in with you, sniffing, being calm in any kind of way, and we reward that, like giving him a treat or whatever. And in most cases, we teach what we want to see beforehand, so we actually can ask our dogs what to do in the situation instead of lunging, barking, growling. So what the dog learns is that another dog, this other dog, gives him something positive, a reward. And that means that the other dog gets connected with positive feelings. So our dog learns another dog means good things, right? And when our dogs have learned that, we start pushing our dog's comfort zone. So we train in different areas, different places with different dogs. And let's be honest, real life provides us with those situations anyway. So this is just how we progress with this training. But you might want to ask yourself, well, what if things go wrong, right? We cannot be perfect. We cannot get 100%. And sometimes we mess up and things go south. What if the dog reacts? Well, we leave the situation. We get our dogs out of that situation. We recap. We see what went wrong, right? So we understand that we are the ones putting our dogs in the situation. And if we mess up, we have to clean it up, right? So we have to change something in the approach so that our dogs no longer have to escalate because the situation's it, right? Now, balanced dog training also uses corrections. That's a huge difference to force-free. So some kind of stimulus that hurts or scares the dog. And that's called positive punishment. So the dog acts out, experiences something uncomfortable, and stops acting out from now on, in theory. So for our example, that means the dog lunges, barks, growls on leash, gets shocked with an e-collar, feels pain, and shuts up, right? That's what's supposed to happen. Now what the dog learns is the other dog is dangerous and I better be as invisible as possible whenever this dog shows up. And again, this is as soon as the dog has learned that, taken into different places, different scenarios with different dogs. So this part is the same again. And sometimes some trainers even use praise after they have used corrections to stop the behavior. So they praise the dog for no longer reacting. Both methods have to be timed really well. They can both be messed up and they work for every issue, including aggression. Yes, positive reinforcement works for aggression. With both methods, the dog could connect something other than we want with the consequence, like a kid riding a bike nearby, or definitely you. You will be connected as well because you are in the scenario and close to your dog. Both can have setbacks. Positive reinforcement often has setbacks when the dog's not feeling well. and when they cannot do whatever we taught them to do, so they fall back into old habits. Balanced most often has setbacks because the dogs cannot contain themselves any longer, so they explode. The difference is that with the correction approach, the behavior very often comes back more intense than it has been in the beginning. And that can also include, for a lunging, barking, growling dog, turning onto you when he cannot reach the other dog. That is what can happen. Now, it all comes back to the question I asked you in the beginning. How important is your dog's quality of life and that he trusts you, even in tricky situations? If this is something very important for you, tell me in the comments. Then I would use force-free. It just builds a more trusting relationship. And whenever it comes to tricky issues and aggression and fear and all the things that require a little bit more than just sit down, heel, whatever, a behavior consultation includes checking your dog's overall well-being, checking your relationship, the dog's history, health, hobbies, the needs, so everything around the dog. That's included in a good behavior consultation. So if you need something like that, check the description, book a free call. We see what I can do for you. Tell me in the comments if you want to see a video about a specific issue and how both methods would address that issue compared to each other. And of course, if you want to see how positive reinforcement is done in real life, watch this video.